So as we're kind of heading way out of the airspace, flight lead calls fights on. We ended up setting up a little bit lower and a little bit faster than we typically would, but no big deal, should have been all fine. I pitched my jet in at him, he comes in at me, and we come to the merge where we cross paths. And at that merge, I didn't realize how fast of an airspeed I had gotten up to. So I rolled my jet inverted and started to pull down towards the ocean in what's called a split S maneuver. And normally that maneuver takes about 5,000 feet of airspace. I was at 10,500 feet when I initiated the maneuver, and our hard deck is at 5,000 feet for training. So that gave me 5,500 feet, my quick mental math and the split-second decision. And I was like, I'm good to go. I got an extra 500 feet. So I went for it, and as I hit bullseye nose low, pointed straight at the ocean, the aircraft had accelerated to a point that triggered what's called the G bucket. And it turns on the G limiter, which basically overrides your control input as a pilot. And in the moment, I didn't realize the complexity of what was going on. But basically what I knew was I've got the stick in my lap. I'm pulling 7.5 Gs. I'm straining my neck to keep sight of my flight lead, because you lose sight, you lose the fight, is the old adage. And as I'm doing that, I just feel the jet settle and stop pulling those Gs. My body goes from weighing like 1,600 pounds. Just my head and helmet, say that weighs 20 pounds at 1 G when you're just standing on the ground. At 7.5 Gs, now that's like having a 150-pound person dangling from your head. And that's just your head. And your whole body, you can feel it. You can feel the pressure on your lungs, your abs, your core. And I'm squeezing to keep the blood in my head so I don't pass out, and then all of a sudden that just eases. And I look down, and I'm pointed straight at the ocean. The stick is in my lap, and the jet's not doing what I'm telling it. And very quickly, I hear the radar altimeter blare, letting me know I'm breaking through the hard deck. Altitude, altitude. And really quickly after that, I just get the ocean rushing up at me. I can see the white caps on the water. And then the ground proximity warning system says, pull up. And there's a big arrow in my helmet visor showing me, like, you need to pull up. And I'm thinking, I already am pulling up. As I hit that radar altimeter going off, I intuitively pulled the throttles to idle, put out the speed brake in a desperate attempt to slow down, but it was too little too late. And just a few seconds before I impacted, I realized, like, I got to get out of here. And in that moment, everything froze. It was like time just paused. And I remember just being able to see the ocean. I could see the white caps very clearly, very vividly. And I just paused in that moment. I don't know. It felt like a few minutes, but it was just a second or two. And at 2 seconds before impact, I reached between my legs, braced, and I yanked the ejection handle. I then discovered the human body is not aerodynamic at the speed of sound. A normal ejection is pretty violent. You get about a 50 G instantaneous rocket boost as that ejection seat ignites, and the canopy blasts away and you shoot out of the cockpit. And just that alone will cause permanent spinal compression. Guys will lose like an inch or so of stature from their spine being compressed so violently. You get flail injuries from your arms impacting high-speed air, breaking your arms, dislocating shoulders. That's common in a normal ejection. In an ideal ejection, you want to be straight and level below 180 knots. And even that's pretty spicy. If you talk, I'm sure you jumped out of some airplanes. No,
I haven't jumped out of airplanes.
No.
No.
Yeah, I mean, talking to guys that skydive and stuff, like coming out at that speed,
Yeah.
that's like over 200 miles per hour.
I mean, it's not the
extremely
same, but just sticking your hand out the window going like 80 miles an hour, like,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother level, but man.
And so when I pulled the ejection handle, I was at 51 degrees nose low, a steep dive. I was 2 seconds from impacting the ocean, and I was at 695 miles per hour, which is 95% the speed of sound at the altitude I was at, which was 2,000 feet above the ocean. So this was way outside the survivable ejection envelope, but I didn't have any other choice at that point. It was either pull the handle and maybe live, or absolute certain death if I continued to try to ride it in. But as I came out and impacted the sound barrier with my body, that was absolutely devastating. It was an explosive force, 100 times the force of a Category 1 hurricane, instantaneously impacting my body. So it ripped off my helmet, smashed my face up. It looked like I had just got my ass kicked by Mike Tyson, like my eyes were swollen up.